This is the Drupal Design, Usability, UX meeting for December 19th, 2017. Two topics scheduled for today. We can do more maybe, but we're first going to look at the workspaces, a proposed experimental module from the workflow team, and then Marcos will have some media related issues as well. Yeah, let's start with workspaces. I think Andre wanted to demo. Go ahead, Andre.
Yeah.
What are workspaces?
Yeah, my favorite topic these days. Okay, so I guess I should share my screen.
If you can.
Please. Also, your picture looks too cool for school. Where were you at when that was taken?
I was in Santorini, Greece.
Oh, okay, right on.
Nice.
Yeah, it was summer and nice. Okay, let me see if this works.
You are screen sharing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure how should I start. The module was reviewed before in September, apparently. And since then, we've been working a lot on it, basically rewriting all the core functionality and adding test coverage. All the potential bugs that were noted here were actual bugs, so a lot of it needed to be tested and fixed. And yeah, we now have a new patch up in the main issue. Should I post these links somewhere, or?
Sure. How about in the, could you paste it in Slack, and then could you also read the node ID aloud for people who aren't, will watch the recording?
Okay. So in Slack, and the node ID is 2910673. Okay, so should we go through each point here, or should I just start and demo the current UI of the module?
I think it's good to just start with a demo, just for anybody watching or new to this, just establish the workspaces concept a bit and then see what we
Okay,
see.
so let's go and first install the module.
Provides the ability to have multiple.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
I'll get back to that. Okay, so as you can see immediately, there is a shiny new icon here. I mean, it was there before, and just now it's colored. I'm not sure if it was colored before. Provides the ability to have multiple workspaces on a single site to facilitate things like full site preview and content staging.
Right. So that's the problem we're trying to solve, right?
Yes.
Pushing multiple changes to another environment in one push of the button somewhere.
Exactly. So basically, when a site needs to prepare in advance for a campaign, let's say,
Yep.
it needs to have multiple nodes or taxonomy terms or blocks different than in the production site. This module provides the ability to actually have all that shown like it was live, but in a, let's say, non-live UI.
Yeah. In what you're calling a workspace, right? A different.
Yes, in a workspace.
Of the site. Yeah.
Okay. So the first item in the previous review, module doesn't have a link to its configuration page. Now it has. This goes to the page where you can configure workspaces, like add and edit the existing ones. Okay, Okay. What should I go next?
Can you? Well, let's have a stage. Let's create some content on stage and push it to life.
Okay. So first of all, we removed the previous UI from the patch that was reviewed here.
Mhm.
You know, when you clicked on this link, there was something showing up on top of the page, the workspaces and all that. That will take a bit more time to implement properly, and we just went with a very basic thing here is which I basically use the toolbars tray where to switch workspaces. So this is the new workspace switcher. That's
Mhm.
it. You're in live and you want to go to set your stage. You open this workspace switcher. Click on stage. You get a confirmation model. Confirm, and then you are in stage. There's also a link here to the same screen, which is this one. This is just common practice. From what I saw, shortcuts have the same thing. So I figured it's worth it to put it here.
Mhm.
Anyway, so now we are in the stage workspace. And let's create a node. Yeah, disregard my previous content here. First, let's go back to live to make sure that we see the status of the site. So right now in live, I have two nodes,
Yeah.
live 1 and live 16. Now, let's go back to stage. Oh, this one. I didn't see this model in the Bartik theme. Anyway, we are back to stage. Add content. Let's add a new article. Let's say stage. Last node was 16, let's say 17. And published. Okay, it's published. Not much to do here. So now, being in the stage workspace, this node is published. It shows without the red background that unpublished nodes have, and it should show also on the homepage. So in the stage workspace, we also have this node. Now, if we move back to live, I'm not sure why this button is not a link anymore. This was very useful, but now I just have to use the URL bar. Not sure if that's a regression in core or something. Anyway, now we're in live and we don't see the node in the view. However, we can see it in the backend. So when we open the node in live, it shows as unpublished. So this is something that a concept which came from the CPS module from D7. The CPS module is short for let's see,
Content preview system.
content publishing system. Yeah. And this is the same approach that we took in workspaces. Basically, when you create published content in a non-live workspace, the content is also available in the live workspace. And this is just because of how revisions work behind the scenes in Drupal. But it's unpublished, so it shouldn't show up in the main listings, in views, basically. That's the main problem, that we don't want it to have it displayed in views which display default revisions. Okay, now let's go back to stage, I guess. And no, stage. Okay, let's deploy the content. This screen is just, it contains some basic text. I think it can and should be improved a bit. But yeah, this is just the basic UI that I actually wanted to talk about. Here we can see another change from the usability review. The previous button was labeled update, which is for pulling content from live, and now it's refresh, like it was suggested here. But what we want to do now is deploy. Okay, there is a point here in the review which said we should communicate better the update or deploy results.
Yep.
That's still not done. I just wanted to say that we are aware of it, but yeah. And now we should go to the live workspace and see the node there. Let's log in again. And right, we have the node in live. Now we can also do another thing with it. For example, modify the node. So we are in stage again. We edit this node. Let's say edited. Published. Doesn't really matter, because when we are in stage, we will see the update. But if we go back to live, it should not be there anymore. The previous state of the node.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so I think that's about it for the basic capabilities of the module. Is there anything else which I should try to demo?
So we looked at content. What is the scope of things that we can? So our blocks workspaceable?
Yes, that would be custom blocks,
Mm-hmm.
which are workspaceable. But that's it. So I have an example here. It's a live block published. Should I try to demo this one? Or
You can, but I was just wondering in general, what
in general,
kind of objects or entities?
for now, it's nodes and custom blocks.
Okay.
We have patches in the queue for taxonomy terms, comments, and menu links.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like the short list we'd want to achieve. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Taxoterms. Did you mention menu items or not? I'm not sure.
Yes, menu items.
Okay. Yeah.
So taxonomy terms, menu items,
Comments.
and comments.
Yep. Okay. So a lot has changed in the meantime.
Yes, the code base was changed a lot. The UI is now simpler.
Yeah.
This is just for the initial patch. We will work on the full-blown UI, which Dries showed on stage, and everyone was excited about. But we wanted to get the fundamentals working properly.
Hey, I'm wondering about did the concept of what workspaces are changed with this? Because I'm wondering in the previous initial concept, I really at least got the idea that the nodes in my staging environment did not exist yet in the live environment. And now it looks like you're not necessarily moving content around, but moving publishing states of the same content around. Did that actually really change, or is that mostly a perception thing?
It's a perception thing.
Yeah. So it was always
The
it
previous
was
patch,
always publishing states that we were
yes,
moving
yes,
around. Okay.
exactly. This is why for a content entity type to be able to be a part of the workspace, it needs to be revisionable and publishable.
Yes.
Those are the only two conditions needed.
Hmm.
So this works by default for every revisionable and publishable entity type. With the previous patch, it was acting the same. When you were creating a node in stage, you could see it in admin content on live.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I discussed this point with Nathaniel Catchpole, and based on his previous experience with the CPS module that I mentioned earlier,
Hmm.
he said that this is what he would expect from a module like this.
Hmm.
For all content to be available, to be listed in live but unpublished. Basically.
I guess the conflict resolution bit is not in here.
No, no, we
No.
didn't get to conflict resolution.
Okay. What do other people think? Do they have questions, remarks? What did we see? Where did people maybe think, or nice, something else?
What
Nobody.
does happen if there's a conflict?
Right.
I'm not sure at the moment. I haven't really tried. It's just that we didn't get to that part of the code, so I can't really say for now. What should happen is that you get a message here. So if you go to page, so stage is now active. When you get to not here, when you go to the deploy content form and you press deploy, you should get an error. For example, there are two conflicts with this node and this block. You need to resolve them before deploying. Yeah, but that's really something for later
Hmm.
to figure out.
About this screen, is it my recollection is that refreshing from live before deploying would be a good thing to do. I don't know if it is a good practice to first pull from live before deploy to live.
Right.
Then I don't know if this is the right sequencing or yeah. Well, we would probably want to do some sequencing here.
Yeah, so what I had in mind for this screen is that we should show if there are any conflicting updates on live.
Mm-hmm.
We should show a number here next to the text.
Okay. Yeah.
So refresh from live in parentheses 2, and then you know that you have to refresh first.
Yeah.
However, live is a special environment. This was also noted in the initial review. Publishing a node on live also published it on stage, which is unexpected. Oh, okay, so maybe this does not happen anymore because if we are on stage, the node will show as unpublished. But however, there is an edge case which we might consider. When you create a new node in live, it will show up in stage as well.
Mm-hmm.
The only
In the
thing
same publishing state that you created it
you
in
created
live.
it in live, yes.
Okay.
What won't show in stage is updating an existing node. So let's try. Curious now. We are in stage. We have a modification for a node. It says updated. So if we go to live and updating this one. Okay. Yeah, this is something that we need to think about. The content is there, but it's just it didn't make it to live because the revision is overridden in the stage workspace. So if we go to edit it, we're still in live. We see the modification there. This is the latest revision, but the default view shows the front page view only shows default revisions. So when we save the node in live, it didn't make it the default revision. I'm not sure, is that unexpected or is that actually a good thing?
I don't know.
Okay, but yeah, anyway, this is an item that we need to think about.
Yep.
Yeah, there's something
Not
that I
just a question of caching, is it?
Sorry?
It's not just a question of caching, is it? It's really that the new revision is not the current one.
Oh yeah, it's not caching. It's definitely not caching.
Okay. It's done.
Yeah, okay, so if we go back to previous screen. Oh, I want to go back here. Yeah, so we were talking about this screen, and refreshing from live would show the number of things that are conflicting. The deploy to live would maybe show the same number, the thing that will be deployed.
Sorry, how do I get to this screen again?
You go to manage workspaces.
You manage workspaces.
And you go to deploy content on the active workspace. Now that you mention it,
Oh, you hit that quite well there.
yes. Now that you mention it, we could put it as a link here, maybe.
Well, I was thinking about the toolbar approach that you're taking here. The more I think about it, it's almost, to me now, because you simplified it, I would suggest, or it's almost like, there's a missed opportunity here to use settings tray and reuse the settings tray pattern to list workspaces, and maybe we could even actually show the deploy UI in settings tray. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly why I said earlier that it needs more work, the full UI, because we want to use the settings tray.
Okay. Phew.
But there are a few. There's at least one issue that needs to improve the settings tray to be able to display it on top, like in the designs.
Okay.
What do those edit buttons do, and should those be the primary choices?
They show the workspace
Name.
form.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you change the label, the owner of the workspace.
And how often am I going to want to change that? How often am I going to want to use the other?
Not very often.
Yeah, because the deploy action is very much hidden right now.
Right. So for the minimal UI, we're proposing to put deploy content as the default action.
Yeah, if deploy is in there, it should probably be the one,
Mm-hmm.
the default one.
That makes sense.
So just one question, because I'm not used to using different workspaces and so on, but you could happen to have several workspaces.
Mhm.
And then if you go to one of them, you will have like 4 buttons saying the total number from relative only to
The parent workspace.
To the, sorry?
Relative to the parent workspace.
to the parent. Okay.
Yeah. Right now it's called target workspace.
Okay.
Okay, can you create one more workspace? Because we're doing campaign 2. See? Okay, now I can choose which is the parent for this. So maybe I want campaign 2 to publish to stage before because I want to collect all those changes on stage first, right? And then see everything come together on stage, and then
we need to think about. This is also a part that we didn't get to. Having a workspace tree, basically hierarchy.
okay.
We were considering having.
Because then you have to remove those options, and I only have one live.
Exactly.
I would be fine with that trade-off. As an MVP, just have one
because
shared one parent destination. Which is
we know that actually works really well right now. It's tested. Having a different parent might work, but it's not 100%.
I can guess. I could imagine that that's like a 10x problem, right? If we
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Anyway, right now you can choose a different parent, and let's say you choose stage. When you want to deploy campaign 2, you deploy to stage.
Okay.
So it says here on the buttons where are you deploying and where are you pulling the content from.
Wouldn't it be useful to show this parent-child relationship on the previous screen? Maybe, like for example, for taxonomies, when one of them, or for menus, one of them is.
The list could be indented, so stage would have a space here, and campaign would be under stage. Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Yeah, we could sort it, or we could introduce another column for it. Well, it depends, right? If we start with having only the one parent destination, which can only be the one live workspace, then
that would be a flat list. But when we get to parents, it's a
Christina, that's what you meant, like an hierarchy, like with menu items. Okay, yeah.
I'm imagining 15 campaigns and so on.
Yeah, that makes very much sense.
In addition to the status column, could we highlight the one that's currently active?
Yes, I think we should. Maybe using, not sure exactly, but we should probably highlight this row.
Yeah.
Any suggestion for a color? Maybe we can use this one, the default.
Somebody, quick, call out a color. Yeah, you would want to reuse something that you're using already for what is live or active. Yeah.
So right now all workspaces have this yellow color. which wants to signal needs review kind of workflow. So if we switch to campaign 2, it's still yellow. It's only the live workspace which is different.
Okay, yeah.
So you know that when you're making edits here, you're doing it on the production version of your site.
I'm not sure if I would add the color in the column.
Okay, so maybe something more subtle.
Yeah, maybe I don't
Over color.
I don't know if maybe just the people in bold, but it wouldn't be that much.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be so visual. Maybe there's another option that I don't recall right now, but adding this kind of colors here, I think it's a little bit risky.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it in any other place, so it's like, wow.
Yeah, I agree. We should find something more like this one, or maybe borrow something from the status report.
Right, because yeah, eventually this would that workspaces list would probably be a good candidate for more like a card-based
Mm-hmm.
display of each workspace,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. Okay. Um,
Yeah, maybe like something like a checkbox on the left, like the
Right.
yellow.
So you mean
Check
a
mark.
little hint like this one?
Just thinking loud. I'm not sure if it's a good solution, but it's maybe ideas.
Okay, yeah, it's a point to think about.
Can you change the active workspace from this page?
Yes, you can. So in here,
Ah,
where you are in live, you can have set active on stage. It goes to the confirmation form, and now stage is active.
okay. Maybe that should be the primary option here. I don't know.
Mhm.
The set active, or yes. So maybe the default action for the active one should be deploy, and the default one for inactive workspaces should be set active. What do you think?
Yeah.
Because that's what you want to do with the active workspace. You want to deploy, and with an inactive one, you want to set it to active, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That could be. I think that sounds reasonable as good defaults for each of those
Yeah.
states the workspace can be in. I'm still sad though that we lose all the colors and the dark backgrounds and
Yeah, I know what you mean. It looks
yeah.
really nice.
I actually would probably advise to limit the scope technically to just having that one live or that one parent.
Mm-hmm.
I think that solves a lot of 80% use cases.
That's very
Um,
true.
so how far along is the actual patch? What do you need from core committers? Because it's a 200 plus kilobyte patch. uh, that's a nice Christmas present for the core committer team, I guess.
I hope
do,
it would be.
do you need the full review? I mean, this is the UX
Um,
call, of course, but
at this
in
point,
general.
we are actually looking for the full review.
Mm-hmm.
We are pretty confident with the code base right now. If we limit the options for the workspace parent, then would be more like 95% sure. Right now we're, I guess, at 80 because we don't really test what happens with the workspace here at least. It's all about adding test coverage, basically.
Okay.
So when we do that and we know that it works, then we can be sure to present that in the UI. But like I said, if we remove that option and the only parent can be in the live workspace, the patch is pretty much there. So it needs architectural reviews.
And adding multiple parents back in later is still doable, right?
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's about adding test coverage for
Okay,
it,
yes.
and see if something doesn't work, fix it. But, the base code should be really stable now.
Okay.
I mean, there are no surprises like adding a node in stage showing up in live or admin content not working and stuff like that. That's why I said that we focused a lot on the backend parts and we pushed the
Yeah, that's what we do in
UI.
Drupal, right?
Yes, I guess.
Yeah, so it looks like things are working from the simple demos from the simple use cases we saw here today. I did write an initial list of the suggestions we did. I will
Okay.
write that
I was
up and
wondering if you were taking notes.
yeah.
Okay, great.
I'll add those to the UI issue with the sad smiley for the bare bones UI we're seeing. I think I know you can't necessarily promise or whatever, but I am curious how much room there's still inside. Well. Okay,
Well,
you're still aiming this for 8.5, right? So you
yes.
probably need the technical
So this
review.
is for the initial patch, which can only go in before alpha.
Yeah.
But after alpha, or even before, we can still start on the full UI work
Okay. Okay.
in parallel.
Yeah, because I want to get a sense of your commitment or dedication to improving this initial UI.
Yeah, it's definitely possible to do it during alpha of 8.5.
Right, because before alpha, you need to get your data model and your API, etc.,
Yes.
in a stable sense in there, or at least, yeah, stable. And then, because in the current state, this UI is not better quality, right? So we need that window of time after January 15th to improve on the actual flow of the user interface.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
how we approached it this time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll confess to not reading the issue summary. I don't know if that's explicitly stated in your issue summary.
no, it's stated in comment here, but I need to update with, the issue summary as well.
Yeah.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Webchick, any thoughts from you about what we saw today? Or if nothing new, then I will provide the feedback. Yeah, and then you probably need to focus on that technical review and getting people to look at that on that part of the patch.
Yeah, but we didn't want to. I mean, we wanted to make sure that at least this basic UI is enough for the initial patch.
Right. Yeah, I understand. Okay, bye, Webchick.
See that Angie is no longer here?
Yeah, she's now. She has to take off. Okay. I mean, I don't like the toolbar approach. I would really want to get a sense of if we can use that alpha to beta period to see if we can the settings tray approach
Yes.
working.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, because that would be conceptually the move that would may take this to a beta, or to the right experimental level.
Okay.
Um,
So you're thinking that UI is a beta blocker. Okay. I just for the record, I was considering the same thing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm happy to see that it actually works, right? And it's not optimal, but you can find all the links and the buttons to do what workspaces allow you to do are there. So in that sense, there is a stable UI API, you could say. We have the right links and buttons. It's mostly about rearranging and how to expose those that we want to improve. So I think we want to see workspace length, right? It's a super useful, super great feature to land in core.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with using this as is for the initial patch. But yeah, then we need to really dig in and improve on it after January 15th.
Yeah, sure. So this work on the UI is not blocked on the backend. I mean, it can be done.
Right. We can iterate on it already, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just that there were a lot of things to do in the backend.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that prevented us from working on the UI.
Cool. Yeah, I'll provide the feedback in the UI issue. I would say good luck finding the right reviews, right? Yeah. Thanks for demoing it. And let's use the final 12 minutes for Marcos and
Sorry
his
if I
media
took
work.
more time than
Sorry? No, it's okay. It's okay. No worries.
someone else.
Thank you.
Okay.
Everyone, can you hear me?
Marcos, I can.
Great. No worries about the time. I am happy to listen to it as well. And my issues are very small ones, and they're not blockers.
They are not 200K patches.
No, they aren't. So, and I'm happy about that actually.
Yes.
I'm gonna paste them here. Maybe I just have time to explain them, and maybe that's enough. I don't know. Let's start with the simplest one. Just check. Find. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So this issue originated when.
Sorry. This has the node ID of 2.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. 2458127. So 2458127. So basically, the idea here is when you add a field to any entity, you have a link that tells you what field type you just added. But there are some weird cases or some weird scenarios where you choose something from a list that's called media or taxonomy term, but then in the list they are called entity refers.
There we are. Yeah.
So this is what we want to change. These links here don't make much sense in this context here, and they are also redundant because they point to a page where you also have the same link, the same destination here. If you go to storage settings, you're going to go to the same place as if you click here. Just that's the first issue. That's all it's all about. This suggestion that many people seem to agree with, and that there seems to be a little consensus, is that the manage display and manage form have this concept of summary on fields. So why don't we do the same thing and transform this column, instead of being the field type, transform it in a column, in a summary column. So each field can have freedom to decide whatever information is relevant to the user here, even if it's just the type of the field.
Yeah, it could still be that what we already see now. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what the current patch does. This is the this is the new version. So there is no field type column. It's replaced by a summary column. All fields get for free a basic summary saying field type, whatever it was before.
Mm-hmm.
This is if the base class implements that. So we are adding a new method to provide a summary, but if field type doesn't implement it, it will be only this. And then the entity reference fields add another line saying what's the type of the referenced entity you are targeting. Mm-hmm. And the result is something like that. Mm-hmm. This patch also adds the same column, the same summary column, to the report field list page, which is this one here. I'm not sure many people look to this page, but
not many, but people know about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the same information here. Just I didn't. There is a field type here that also presents what module provided the field, and in this case we are just adding.
See, Benji looks at the field list.
Yeah. So actually, this page here is a minor add-on we just added to the patch. It's not really part of the main problem.
I wonder if you should. Do we call it summary in the?
We don't actually. I just realized that we don't call it anything.
Right. Because I was thinking about the word description or something.
Yeah, why not? It may not be the description always, but yeah, in most cases it will describe what that field is.
Yeah. Yeah. So
just
so the problem this solves is meaningless entity references, labels for media or taxonomy terms, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. And just click on it. Where do we go again? Is that the storage?
We go to the storage settings, which is the same. Yeah.
Yeah. It's also a quite esoteric page. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Well,
and
I'll click on it just so you see it's the same page.
Yeah. Okay. And the new summary or descriptions do not have links, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So we solve a nonsensical label. We add quite a bit of info, so we do get a bit more characters happening in each table row. Yeah.
There is I think the underlying good new feature that happens is that the field types now have freedom to provide any information they consider relevant for their type. So if a contrib module provides a field type, this is a window for this field type. Mm-hmm. Say something here, and that may be a good.
Is this a result of the same issue we discussed last week, where we also changed?
No, not really. It's a different issue.
Okay.
It's related because it's field UI in the end, but that one is when you add a field. then you get this. The other one was grouping and add
right.
descriptions on this page.
Yeah, exactly. And then we would show descriptions as well, but those are other descriptions than these.
Yeah, these are different. This is a different information actually.
Okay, yeah.
It bothers me that every row says field type :
Yeah.
We could remove this.
Instead of stating whether to call it a summary or a description, both of which are basically meaningless words, why not continue to use the
field type.
field type label of the column?
Oh, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we could remove this here and then have the column named field type, but still leave it open to field plugins to implement the summary.
Yeah. So we would get image.
Yeah.
And then reference entity type :file. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I think we would need at least one blank row between the field type and the summary. Maybe.
Between the in each.
Yeah, so you would have an image and then a blank row and then a summary.
We could probably maybe we can take some inspiration from the views listing, although I'm not sure is that even a table it's not that simple a table, but I think if you would go to structure views and then the list of views, I think we have multiple rows of information. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ish.
More or less.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that empty line, Andre. Just for space considerations.
Make field type in bold and then the additional description unbold.
Yeah, we could do something like that, styling.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's even better. Yeah.
Perfect. Can I use the 5 or the 2 last minutes I have to present the other issue, which is actually, I think, more important than this one. It relates to the same process. You are creating immediate field or a taxonomy term field or so-called field. But they are entity reference fields. And as a result, once you create the field, you'll get to this page where you have some settings that relate to your field and medias, but you may not get, or it's maybe not the most intuitive thing, this set here. So the arguments...
You are correct.
So the arguments are, first of all, maybe arguably the only thing you need to configure here is those 2 checkboxes here. Saying for this field, I just want the image media type. But however, these are buried here down the page inside this reference type, after the reference method that nobody knows what that means. So that's the problem this issue wants to solve. I'll say the number is 1953568. There is an intrinsic problem, technical problem here, because gonna close some of them. This, which is probably the most important thing you want to configure, depends on this option.
Yeah.
So we can't really eliminate this, because if you select a views reference method, you won't get these.
Every time I used this select list, I had to find the blog post with the tutorial on it.
So there are some suggestions. It's a very work in progress patch. It's not, but so this is the before. It's just what I showed you.
Yeah.
The after is, the first option is the first proposal is, why don't we move the whole field set to the very top of the page,
Yes.
and move the reference method to the bottom of the field set. That's awkward, because when you change here, then these will disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a drawback. Like, oh, how many people will change this? And how many people will experience this awkward situation?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's okay. Maybe it's too much of, I don't know, weirdness. So another possibility is to hide that inside a collapsed field set. So you still have it here, still have it inside the field set, but it's hidden. And I still prefer, my personal opinion is, you have it down here, even if it will change something above you.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's preferable, but I don't know. I just wanted to have your feedback before proceeding with one or other options. Any questions? Is it clear, more or less the problem and the idea?
Moving to the top is a good idea, because these are required fields, and we should lead with required settings, required form elements. Switching the order around is probably quite tricky, but you're also right that the default is probably good for 80% of the people.
Yeah.
You're a pretty advanced site builder if you found out that you actually want to use a views provided blah, 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 reference thing. Moving to the top is a good idea. I can't say in this last minute which one of the
no problem.
you should take.
Maybe I just wanted to present you this, and hopefully at some point get some feedback in the issue. These are not strictly blockers for media, so
no, but you're encountering weird
yeah, so the more people use media, more people will encounter this this problem, and it will become more evident. And I do think it will be a good thing to improve these two details.
Yeah, you could even think about removing the field set, because this is the primary part of this whole page. We use field sets for other stuff.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. My main concern was adding a field set inside a field set. I mean,
okay, with this option, I mean.
Yeah. That was something that the thing that was stopping me from making that decision about what I prefer is that weird thing and inside another thing that it's also collapsed, that it's like kind of you have to go really deep to find something. So removing the first one makes maybe sense, or maybe we're talking about the other one, right?
No, I was talking about the reference options, so the frame around reference options, because this is the required part of this page, of this whole form. It is more important than the other stuff that's in there, so we can remove the wrapper around it, basically. We would still need to have a label there that says that this is about reference options or whatever. But okay, I'm going to end the meeting.
No problem. Yeah, I just wanted to bring it here. If
very good that you did. These are interesting findings, and I think also good proposals. So let's have a think and give you some feedback on the issues.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for today's meeting. All right. Next week is Christmas, so no UX meeting. See you in the next year, I guess. Bye, all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great week.
Yeah, you too.